my things, my tips, and I'm just going to do three. Um, the three tips I would have starting in business. I want you to understand: 90% of startups fail. Okay, I'm not saying that to discourage anybody at all. Because even if it fails, it's still good experience. It still looks good on your resume. So it's not a loss to start a business and fail. Okay. On the other side of the coin, I would also say you need to focus on a couple things that these are the basic things that people screw up. Uh, Initially, you want to start out with a mission statement. Why do you want to do the business? So, like when we started this show, we don't have like a written mission statement, but we talked about we wanted to educate. We didn't want to promise things to people that were unrealistic. We wanted to make sure our information was accurate, and we wanted to combat misinformation that was out there. Now, your mission statement will change over time. Ours has, where misinformation has now become the priority because there's so much of it that we have to attack it all the time.
Well, and furthermore, we've expanded upon those ideas to include a lot of focus on systematic issues and highlighting those and revealing what they are.
Right. We've had to address more politics and a lot more history and things and logic than we'd normally want to do. But it's important because there is so much misinformation. We have to attack it where it attacks. So yeah, but a mission statement is important to have that and keep that always in mind, right? That would be first thing. Have a mission statement. They don't have to be long. They could be a paragraph. But this is what's important to me doing the business. You have to remember though in your mission statement that the most important thing is the customer, or in our case, the viewer for this situation, because that's who you're serving, right? That's the person who's going to fund your business. They're paying you. They're the ones who are supporting you. So you need to put them first because they're the most important person. All of them. Okay. I think that gets missed a lot with business owners, especially from my experience. Business owners start the business and they have this idea it's going to be this way and it's going to be great and blah, 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 and people just come and love it. It's like, yeah, but then when you look at it, it's like, yeah, the customers fucking hate it because it's all about you. It's not about the customer. Right. The second thing I would throw out is a business plan. And you can Google these, and there's lots of different ways to do these. There are two things I would like to point out with a business plan that I think are incredibly important. Is there's two facets to a business. One is production, and the other is support. Production would be the first part, would be whatever your product is. Whether it's a restaurant, your product is the food and the service and the ambiance, right? If you're making toys are the product, right? But the quality of the toy, the materials, blah, blah, blah. So that would be the first part. So your production team is the one that's creating the product for the customer. The second part, and this is the part that most business owners overlook, which is support. Your support team is going to be the people that are figuring out your bills, your taxes, your overhead, right? All the finance shit, right? They're also going to be the ones that are figuring out what is your compliance, your legal expectations, your insurance costs, right? Your human resources, right? Employment, payroll, all this shit, right? The other big thing about support is doing sales. Okay? And that's the more important part. I mean, the other parts are all really important because you don't want to get sued, get into financial trouble. But sales is important because you could have the greatest product in the world, but if you have a terrible sales team, nobody's going to ever know about it. But you could have a completely crap product and have a fantastic sales team and make a ton of money and people buy it. Let me give you an example. I bought this stupid thing to keep on my desk and I use it as a prop for work and stuff. Why'd I buy it? Because it was really cute and I thought it was funny. And that's it. I paid $40 for this thing. Why? Brilliant marketing team on Disney's part. They caught me walking in the door, man. I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. Couldn't even tell you why I had to have it. Had to have it. Brilliant marketing team. Think about the pet rock in the 70s. People used to buy rocks as pets and dress them up and put them in cardboard boxes, and they'd pay money for that. Brilliant marketing. So production, you want to make sure that you have plans. So production, the plan is for how to develop the product, the quality of the product, how we're getting it out. Support, you want to make sure you know how you're financing all this stuff and how you're going to sell it and who you're marketing to and have a plan. So having a plan for production and support is a big deal. Most people don't do that. They just think about production. They don't think about sales. And they certainly don't think about finances and stuff, and that's where they get sued. The third thing I would like to say, if you start a business, if it's just you, you're having to do it all on yourself, right? It's just you alone. If you have to hire other people, your staff is your bloodline. They're the ones that make the business happen. And a lot of times people will undercut their staff or underpay their staff, and then they can't figure out why they can't get customers, or why their staff isn't showing up, or why everybody's pissed off all the time and everything's miserable. It's like, because you're not taking care of your staff. So if you have staff, you need to make sure that these people are taken care of. They're happy. They want to be there because they're the ones that are bringing you in new business. It's their labor that's making this happen for you. And if they're just doing it because they just need the fucking paycheck, then that's all you're going to get. Then it's not going to further your business. So those would be my 3 big things right out of the gate. I mean, there are a lot of other things we could talk about, but those would be the 3 things. If you're starting your own business, pay attention to what are your goals with your mission statement. Keep on them, keep adapting them. Make sure your business plan is solid. Make sure you factor in how you're producing it, how you're financing it, how you're taking care of the business, and how you're selling everything. And make sure you have plans for all these things, right? Who's my target audience? How do I want to get to them? Is the product right? And then make sure you take care of your support, your team. So,
Duncan, I want to add one thing to that.
Sure.
My tip when you're starting a business is not to be afraid to start with a smaller version of what your ultimate goal is.
Sure.
Because I've seen a number of times people trying to do too much with it right out of the gate, as opposed to start with a small sort of beta version of whatever it is that they're doing, that they can do a really solidly good job with, and then build from there, as opposed to trying to do entirely too much all at once and not doing a great job with it.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice too. Nothing wrong with doing a test run.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I thought those were all decent tips for the most part, but